Hey guys, it's Hovis here, and today I'm going to teach you how not to get sued. And if you're a real estate investor, you are going to, for the rest of your life, be constantly concerned about being sued, either from a tenant, a contractor, a buyer, a seller. Someone is going to think that you are a mega wealthy human being, and they're going to try to get that from you via a lawsuit. I don't know very many real estate investors who have not been involved in some type of litigation, whether that's the entry level of just a letter getting written to them, or an actual suit getting filed against them, or in some cases going to mediation, or some cases actually going to court and having a trial. If you're a real estate investor, you get threatened all the time, and particularly now in our litigious society, the idea of constantly being threatened with lawsuits is palpable. When someone gets sued, the only one who wins is the attorney. Those big, huge, large settlements that make someone wealthy for the rest of their life is actually like hitting the lottery. Because most lawsuits never make it to court because they settle way before. The only person who makes any money in that lawsuit, in that legal action, are the attorneys, both for the defense and the prosecution. So what I'm going to do is try to teach you a few tips on how to avoid getting that lawsuit to begin with. So number one, do good business. If you do good business and you treat people right and you're concerned about them, authentically concerned about who they are as a human being, you can avoid a lot of issues. There's a lot of things that happen in relationships, and particularly in the landlord-tenant relationship or the investor-contractor relationship, that can kind of get sideways, and therefore feelings get hurt. And every lawsuit starts with hurt feelings. But if you treat people right and you care about their feelings and you care about them, you can avoid that lawsuit altogether. If you're saying to yourself, what is this person really wanting? You can avoid a lot of the conflict and a lot of the issues, and therefore a lot of the lawsuits. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a tenant move into a property, wanted certain things done on the property. We got them done as best as we could, and it wasn't good enough for them, and they felt like we were ignoring them. And the reality was they just weren't being very communicative. We were trying to understand what it is that they needed. And at the end of the day, they were most concerned about the air filtration in the home, that it was clean and good and everything was great. And so we said, yeah, we went and serviced the furnace, we serviced the air conditioner. What are you looking for? And she was upset about the quality of furnace filter that we had. So for $7, $10, we were able to solve her problems. But along the way, things got a little heated between her and our contractor, and then therefore an operations manager and all the people involved. And I just said, pause, think, what's happening here? Why is she so fired up about this furnace? And at the end of the day, it came down to her kid had asthma, and she just wanted to make sure that the air in her house was as clean as it could possibly be. And so that's what we did. For a $10 furnace filter, we made her dream come true. Just listen, solve a problem, help them out, do good business, and you'll avoid a lot of the issues. The other part about doing good business is setting proper expectations up front. People are okay when they know the expectations up front, what the rules of the game are, and can follow them. When we lease up a tenant, they go to an hour and 15-minute video of us explaining the lease, not just explaining the lease, but explaining our expectations and why this part of the lease is in there and what they need to expect from us and what we can expect from them. At the end of that video, they are left with the decision. Are they going to occupy one of our houses? Are they going to become one of our tenants? Or is this just not going to be a fit? We do the same thing with contractors. We do the same thing with team members. We do the same thing with buyers, investors, sellers. We do the exact same thing with everybody we involve ourselves with. At the beginning, we set upfront expectations. The other area to do good business with, to avoid getting a lawsuit, is with contractors. Set the proper expectation up front. You see, I don't pay for incomplete work. Now, I will pay for all the materials. I literally have a full-time staff member who will answer the phone call from Home Depot and give them a credit card over the phone so that they don't have to come out of pocket to do any of the work on any of my properties. However, I'm not gonna pay for incomplete work. Another piece, I don't pay any deposits. I don't pay money up front before someone does a job. I will pay for their material, but I will not pay a 50% deposit to get them started. So if they get 70% of the way finished with the job and then go dark on me, don't show up 3, 4, 5 days, get thrown in jail, which happens, then I'm not paying for their labor on any of that. I got to go hire a new person to complete that job. Now that may sound a little harsh, but in the contract that we have our contractors sign, it states that, and we go over it explicitly. We don't pay for incomplete work, period. If you want to get sued, get into a fight with a contractor because they have a lot of rights that you don't know about. Lien rights, where they can put a lien against your property until you sell the property. We make it very simple. I'll pay for the materials. You bid the labor. When the labor is finished, I'll pay you. Now, if you set that expectation, you can avoid getting in a lawsuit with a contractor and therefore avoid mechanics liens getting recorded against your property. Number 2, know the law. If you're gonna be in this business, or any business for that matter, you need to become an expert in your industry. Whatever that might be, whether that's food service or property management or retail or whatever it might be, you need to become an expert in the law in your field. So it's the same thing that goes with real estate. Make sure that you know the fair housing laws, the construction laws, the zoning laws, the codes. Educate yourself. Spend some time knowing the laws, because if you know what the laws are, it's a lot easier to not break them and then therefore maybe not get sued. So how to avoid getting sued? Number 1, do good business. Number 2, know the law. But number 3, and this is a ninja trick, block attorneys by hiring them. If you hire an attorney, they are now on your side of the table. And if someone wants to sue you, they can't sue you with your own attorney. They have to then go get another attorney. And so in any city, there are always the top attorneys. Particularly in real estate, there's very few that are the top real estate attorneys. It may cost you a couple $1,000s, but it might save you tens of thousands of dollars if you go and hire the top attorneys in your city to become your attorney. And the reason you would do that is so that when someone has a problem and they go to the top attorney in the city and they say, hey, I want to sue Brad Hovis, and they look it up, wait a second, Brad Hovis is a client of ours. You can't hire us to sue him because we represent Brad. So now what does this guy have to do? He's got to go to the next top attorney. And what if the next top attorney has me as a client? Now this person is saying, wait a second, I can't hire any of these attorneys because Brad is the client for all of them. These top attorneys represent Brad. And now they got to go down through the pecking order, and if they can, get a hold of some 2-bit attorney, and he does take the case. What that person is then going to realize is he's going to be up against all the top attorneys, and how you would do that is actually really simple. You call up all these top attorneys and say, I'd like to hire you to review a document. Could be a purchase and sale agreement, could be an operating agreement. You're going to pay about $500 per attorney, and you're going to hire them just to review. Hey, can you take a look at this? Great. They're going to take your money. You are now their client, and anyone after that who wants to sue you is going to have to do so with another attorney, because now that top attorney represents you. That's a ninja trick. You should definitely try that, particularly if you're in a small town and there's only a handful of attorneys. You can buy yourself the ability to not be sued by top attorneys by becoming their clients. Number 4, how to avoid being sued. Be anonymous. Don't let people be able to search who you are, where you live, what you own. Make sure that even on your primary residence, that it's not sitting in your personal name. Make sure that it's in a different entity. Could be a trust, could be an LLC. Make it so that the mailing address is going to some other place, some place that you don't live. Could be a P.O. box, could be a FedEx Kinko's store. Try to be as anonymous as possible. Do this with your house, do this with your cars, do this with anything that is publicly searchable. And the reason I say that is, if someone knows who you are and they give you that information to an attorney, they're now going to do a search. And most things, because it's all online, are easy to search. But what you want to do is be anonymous as possible so that it takes them a little bit of digging. Now, can they eventually find everything that you possibly own? Yes. But it's going to make it more difficult. When someone hires an attorney and that attorney goes and does some search and they're like, man, we're not finding hardly anything, then that attorney comes back and says, hey, client, we can't hardly find anything on this person. We need to hire a private investigator. You need to put down a retainer and it's going to cost $5,000. All of a sudden, that client might think twice about pursuing this lawsuit because it's now actually going to cost him some money. By being as anonymous as possible, it gets rid of the ambulance chasers who just want to use the law to take advantage and to collect their fees. It makes it so that they want to go look for lower hanging fruit. I know that I've avoided lawsuits because I've maintained a certain degree of anonymity. Now, you might say, well, Brad, you're all over YouTube now. Well, just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean that everybody knows who I am. In fact, I'm a pretty small channel. Eventually I'll get bigger, and I'll continue to try to be as anonymous as possible, using entities, layered entities, asset protection, using a lot of insurance. The goal, particularly for you if you're starting in real estate investing, is to be anonymous from the very beginning, so that makes it difficult for people to find you and all of your assets. And number 5, don't appear wealthy. It's the people who appear wealthy, flaunt their wealth, try to make other people feel small because of the wealth that they've got, that wind up getting a lot of lawsuits unnecessarily. I take this to an extreme. I drive an old pickup truck, I wear jeans and a t-shirt, live in a nice house, but in not the nicest house in all of Denver. I try not to flaunt the kind of money that I've got. You can be saying, Brad, you're on YouTube talking about all the deals that you've done, all the money that you've made, and frankly, it's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do a YouTube channel. However, the benefits that I've received from being able to teach and help people with real estate investing has made it so that it is worth it for me. I don't feel like I come off as a haughty jerk. I want to maintain a level of humility because I truly believe the Lord has given this all to me. It is not mine. It is mine to steward and manage, and I want to do right by Him. So YouTube is a catch-22 for me. On one side, I do want to share how I've been successful in real estate, but on the other side, I don't want to do so in a haughty, braggadocious way. I don't want to appear as the rich, wealthy real estate mogul. I want to be perceived as the one who helps people reach their dreams, to increase their wealth through passive income and learning about real estate investing, to help more people. That's the reason we do what we do. So the 5 ways to avoid being sued are: number 1, do good business; number 2, know the law; number 3, block attorneys by hiring them; number 4, be anonymous; and number 5, don't appear wealthy. If you follow these steps, you got a better shot of not getting sued. However, if you're a real estate investor, it's likely you're going to be involved in some type of legal issue. You will experience the legal system. Why? Because we live in a litigious society. People think that real estate investors are uber wealthy, and we're easy targets according to the law. Such easy targets that in my growth strategy towards $1 billion in real estate, down the line when we're ready, I'll be hiring a full-time legal department where I have lawyers who just work for me, kind of like The Godfather. That's how much litigation there is around real estate investing. And so follow some of these tips to avoid that litigation and save yourself some headache. But just know, if you're dealing in real estate, you're likely going to get sued. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.